Hi, it's Janet Clark with Janet Talks Business TV, and we're here for our weekly blog. So, why don't you just quit? That is exactly what those pesky voices in my head were saying to me last week. In fact, they were screaming so loud I could hardly hear my inner voice. You know, the one that's calling me to step up and do something bigger with my life. Nope, those other voices, I call them my mind talking, were loudly saying things like, you don't need to do this. It's too hard. There's too many obstacles. There's an easier way to make money. See, last week I faced some technology issues that were just downright annoying and extremely aggravating. I'm not going to go into all the details here for the sake of time, but let me just say it was a saga of one thing after another. And for those of you who tried to get on the 12-month Client Attraction Plan webinar, I do apologize. It was a disaster. And then, on top of that, my computer crashed the next day, and the re-recording was lost. In fact, the entire presentation, the PowerPoint, was lost. So all in all the work that I did last week, pretty much I get to do it all over again this week. Have you ever lost an entire week of work because of some unexpected glitch? You know, maybe you just get sick, or someone you love has a crisis, or maybe your computer crashes, or you have to go to a funeral. This stuff happens all the time, and it's really, really hard for us entrepreneurs who are building our businesses. Because we don't have a company behind us that's going to pay us for sick time or for personal time. And another thing that's hard is when our loved ones would just assume that we take the advice of our mind voices. In fact, sometimes they're the ones chiming right in, saying things like, oh, it's okay, you don't have to do this, there's an easier way. Now, I'm not saying that my family isn't supportive of my business, but truthfully, because they love me, they don't want to see me struggle. They want my life to be easier. So they wonder out loud, why are you putting yourself through so much to build a business when you could just get a job? It's all we can do sometimes to just hang on and stay in touch with our inner voice and the big why. So let me tell you why I didn't quit. I'm on a mission to help as many entrepreneurs as possible to make their life purpose their livelihood. If I quit, I will have no peace of mind because the inner voice is still going to be there, nudging me to do what I came here to do. And I believe it's the same for you. If you don't pursue your dream, you won't find inner peace and joy. Now, I also remember that it's challenging to start a business. I know because I did it 10 years ago, and the first 2 years were a struggle. But I also remember that it is worth it. I recall the personal power and the autonomy that it gave me. I remember being free to go where I wanted, when I wanted, and to make my own schedule. And I know what financial freedom is, and that it is the way that I'll be able to help more people. And I want that for the people that I'm helping. So here I am, staying in the moment and sending you light and love. And if you ever need a word of support or a little empathy when you're on your journey, you feel free to email me anytime at janet@thefreedomshift.com. And for those of you who are out there waiting for me to lay out your 12-month client attraction plan, know that I will send you another link to invite you again this week. So no quitting. I'll talk to you next week. Oh, and by the way, I did want to mention, I was on a hangout this morning with Eben Pagan. Now, many of you may know him. He's a multi-million-dollar internet marketing guru who has successfully built 20 companies. And toward the end of the hangout, the whole thing just fizzled out. It just crashed. So he sent an email that I opened just before I did this recording. So I wanted to read it to you, just a little portion of it. And he says, well, our hangout was great, but we seem to have broken the internet again. We had so much traffic coming in that we crashed our server. Sorry about that. I haven't had that happen in years. It's always humbling to have technology show your human fallibility. So on that note, I will say to you, yes, we are all human, and let's just continue to persevere in our businesses. Talk to you next week.